Okay, and we saw you out at Back to the City, man.
Yeah.
Going crazy. I'm not sure if you heard about the drama surrounding that.
What happened?
With the international acts and all of that.
Oh yeah.
And just to bring it into context, obviously you've heard about the 90% allocation to South African artists on SABC stations.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about this whole, I call it patriotism that's starting to sweep over South Africa right now?
Look, I dig the patriotism. It's really dope. But for some people, like, these are the only forms they know of getting music, like, everywhere. And music is music, guys. Like, music is not a nationality.
Okay.
Music is supposed to break boundaries. Like, music is supposed to, it's supposed to introduce you to other things. Like, it's supposed to take you to different spaces. It's supposed to, like, it's one of those ways in which we can always find a way to relate. Like, always.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, if you think about the whole fact of, like, 90% local, it's not breaking boundaries. Music is music. Like, it shouldn't matter where it's from. It should matter whether it sounds good, whether it doesn't, But I feel like a lot of musicians are so excited because it means more money for them. It's a paycheck for them. Let's not forget that. For us, it's restrictive. Like, we always used to judge our music according to international standards. And we got into a point whereby we can compete with them. We can listen to an international song and say, look, we actually fucks with our music better. Not because it's just the fact that it's local, but because this is nice. This is actually dope. Restricting it to just a point whereby it's just 90% of ours doesn't give us the chance to say our music might be able to compete with them. It's just like being forced, and we're gonna get forced into listening to things that we don't need to be listening to.
So
there's no more filter now.
Yeah.
It's literally no filter. 90% of music, of South African music. Do you know what that means? That's literally introducing people's SoundClouds to the radio. That's literally every artist dropping whatever they want, whatever music they want, like not even a hit, whatever they want, they can make it and they can put it on the radio. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's looking at it as like, oh my gosh, 90%. Whoa, artists were celebrating. Yeah, your check is paid. We see ya. We get it. But for the person who's not thinking about it at home, it's way bigger than that, bruh. It's like anyone can make anything they want now. It's like back in the days, there used to be what's it called? Music Lounge.
Okay.
Music Lounge was not allowed to play international music.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
On SABC 1.
Yeah.
It wasn't allowed to play any international music.
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the music that used to come through? Oh my gosh.
I think there were some videos at playgrounds and they were talking about, getting girls. I was like, okay. Yeah, but I see your point. I really see your point. But do you not feel like we need to go through that period of just, I don't want to say trash music, but just not of quality, so that we can kind of, because you'll get a lot of competition, and then the guys with the quality will show through eventually.
I think if it wasn't for that international music coming through and us having to, we wouldn't be making the quality that we are making.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You just think about it, like, even, for example, the Nigerians. The Nigerians are going internationally to study them, to find out how to improve their stuff, and they're bringing it back to Africa, and like, it's making it bigger. And I feel like we should get to a point whereby it's not forced to us. It shouldn't be forced. Like, I don't want to hear a random song because it's 90% local, it must be played. No.
Yeah.
No.
You feel very strongly about this.
I like one thing, because whenever people see things, they don't ever think about it in a way of, is there any goods, is there any bads to what's happening
here? Unintended consequences.
And that's where you see that the artists are very influential in this country. A lot of people are celebrating the whole 90% music, but they don't dig it. They're not actually about it. But because the artist said that this is so awesome, everyone else is like, hey, actually that might be awesome. It might just be awesome. Like all the tracks that you hear on radio are not going to be there, guys. They're not there. Like from 5 FM, where you're listening to your rock music beyond hip hop. Like, because we talk about hip hop, when you're listening to Mumford and Sons on radio, you're not gonna hear as much as that. When we're listening to
But hang on. I mean, the thing is, we got tweets from people saying what you're saying. But I mean, this is not. You can still get your music from iTunes. You can still get your music off the internet. I mean, it's not a total.
Like, radio is a very huge platform. Like, I feel like it's very influential, and I don't know, man. I just feel this whole 90% thing. It shouldn't be 90%. It shouldn't. Look, not 90%. Do you know what 90% is? If someone says, I'm going to eat 90% of your pie, do you know what that leaves you with? If someone says, I'm going to eat 90% of your burger, you might not even be able to taste the patty. You might not taste the patty or even the cheese. You might just be left with just the bread of the burger. Do you know what I mean? Like, 90% is a lot. If I take off 90% of my outfit now, right now, if I say, oh my gosh, and I take off 90% of my clothes for your viewers, I might not even have socks on. I might be left with one sock, literally.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, leave us with something. Like, don't wake up one morning and say 90%, and we must be, let's like move in gradually. Like, okay, 50%. Okay, guys, 60%. Okay, 80%. They were like, but guys, come on. They were like, okay, 90%.
Okay, so you want better implementation.
Yeah, dog. Don't just wake up and tell us, yo, from tomorrow, guess what? No panda for you. Yo, no panda for no, really.
That's so interesting because we get a lot of artists, right, that tell us that because of the way radio is set up, they can't get their stuff onto the radio.
Yeah.
And I would think that you being an artist or playing in that realm, you'd celebrate this. I mean, do you have more pride, I guess, when you're competing against international artists? Or, what is your whole feeling? Because you are involved in the...
Yeah, obviously, like, even with us, we've been struggling to get galleons to get playlisted. Like, it's playlisted, but it's not getting played.
Yeah.
And that happening, it means, like, eventually they're going to have to look at galleons and say, 90%, here we go, they're going to play galleons.
Okay.
But, like, for me, I was ready to work for it. It was, like, something that I was ready to work for, to get, like, to a point whereby we're sitting on the charts. So what our charts going to be is literally all going to be local music. It's nice to see charts where you're number one and the biggest song in the world is number 3.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it shows that there's gradual movement in it. Like, I would love to hear Ngutu over almost any international song. Maybe even Panda. You know what I mean? People go crazy when they hear Ngutu in the club. Just as much as they go crazy when they hear Panda.
Yeah.
It's just about the quality of music. We know this is dope.
Okay.
That is dope. Like, it doesn't need to be filtered to a point where it's just like, because it's local, let's let it in, let's move this dope one out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It should have been it should have been implemented a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah.